Hi everyone, today's video is for all those of you who might feel a bit discouraged with your career development. Perhaps you feel a bit confused or lost and do not know what to do next. Maybe you've even started to change your career, but you don't see that things are really going the way that you wanted, the way that you planned it, and maybe that's why you're feeling a bit down about it and discouraged. So I hope that this video will be able to provide you a bit of encouragement and maybe also a bit of perspective so you can make a bit of sense about your whole career path up until now. And for that, today I want to talk about the analogy of a dream home, and I'll get to that in a second. For those of you new to this channel, welcome to Multiple Careers. I make videos on how to build a fulfilling and meaningful career instead of just doing what everyone else does. If this is something that you might be interested in, then go ahead and click the subscribe button, and also don't forget to hit the little alarm bell so you'll get notified when there are new videos from me. I myself went through a lot of ups and downs throughout my career, and I went through a very drastic career change from project management in banking to filmmaking and acting. So I totally get how it's like to change careers and how frustrating it can be. When someone intends to make a career change, they want to just do it as fast as possible. They want to be in the new industry, in their new target job as soon as possible, and it just can't happen fast enough. But in reality, it takes time. It's a process and it doesn't happen overnight. In many cases, career change, depending on how complicated and drastic it is, can happen over 2, 3, or even 5 years. It takes a lot of patience, perseverance, and also faith. And in many ways, it is like home improvement or looking for your dream home. Many of you will have lived in different homes and different houses throughout your life. You once lived together with your parents, and then you moved out during college to live with roommates, and then you had your own apartment. And perhaps you might even already be at the stage where you're married or living with a partner and you've bought your first home, or even bought your second home and moved into it. And you might have noticed that over the years and with each move, you get to know better and better what you are looking for. Maybe in the beginning, your only criteria was to have a house that is strategically located. But after having moved once or twice, you now know exactly what you want. For example, that you want 2 bedrooms in your house plus a den. Maybe that you want a huge window and also a balcony. That you want an open layout where the kitchen and the living room is basically one large room, and a lot of other things. But these things you might have not been aware of in the beginning when you moved into your first home. And the more experience you have with moving from home to home, like I did, I lived in so many places throughout my life, the more you know what you are looking for exactly, down to the smallest bit, like what you want the tiles to look like, what kind of bathtub you want, and so on. And after moving several times, maybe by now you are living in a home which is in the perfect location, with the perfect size, with that basement that you want, with that balcony, with the perfect wallpaper and the interior design and color of the walls, etc. So it's the exact same thing with your career. When you first graduated from university or college, perhaps you didn't really know what you were looking for. The most important thing to you at that time, correct me if I'm wrong, was perhaps to just get any job that was remotely connected to the subject, the major that you studied, and to get some experience, and that is decently paid, perhaps a bit above minimum wage. That would be nice. But apart from that, maybe you didn't have too many other criteria. But after working for 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, and especially 10 years and beyond, you start to understand yourself better. You start to realize the specific things about your job, about your career that you like and that you don't like, and gradually you start making those changes and tweaks. For example, you might decide to move from full-time to part-time work, or from full-time to freelancing, or it might be the other way around. Maybe you started off doing freelancing work as a graphic designer or so, and now you're thinking how nice it would actually be to be permanently employed by a company and receive a steady paycheck. So you have these different insights about the mode of work, about the working conditions. For example, how many hours hours you would like to work, whether or not you want to work on the weekends or not, how much autonomy you need, how much flexibility you need when you are performing your job. And the next stage might even be that you realize that the industry that you're working in now is perhaps not the most suitable one for you. And at that stage, you might even consider and think outside of the box how it would be to work in a totally different industry. And you start thinking about how that could happen. Do I need to go back to school? Do I need to get some certificate? Or do I need to do some volunteering first to get the experience before I get there? And that is usually where the confusion and the frustration starts, especially people who have already worked in their first career for quite a long time. There might be a tendency to become less flexible and less open to change, and that makes it even more challenging. And career change is indeed very hard. It's not an easy and straightforward thing to do, and it requires a lot of courage. But I want to tell you here that in the end, it will be worth it if you work on shaping your career, tailoring your career in a specific way that suits your personality, your needs, that aligns with your purpose and your vision for your life. Then in the end, all the hard work and the frustration will be worth it. But maybe because you've just started the process, because you're still in the early stages, you just can't see the light at the end of the tunnel yet. You don't know which way to take and how to get there, and that makes everything very confusing. So try to look at your career and your career path in a similar way as you would look at finding your dream home or making home improvements so you can have the perfect house that you want to live in. And usually when looking for that dream home, that perfect home for you and your family, it's only at a later stage, at certain stages, where you will find out about certain things. You won't be able to know everything in the beginning. And the reason is because you are not a static thing. You are not a person who doesn't evolve and develop. You at 22 might not have the same perspective about the world and the same needs as when you are 35. Maybe when you were 22, you were fine with a bachelor's pad and you didn't really care about all the details of the color, the design, and so on. I know some people do, but in general, for many people, the most important thing is just to have a decent place to live that fits within their budget, right? But when you're 35 or you get to 40 and so on, maybe you start to have a family, you need more rooms, and you have specific needs. Maybe you have more pets and you need more room for them. Maybe you developed a new hobby and you like to paint, or you need an additional room to use as a studio, and so on. And those are all things that maybe at 30, 35, or at a certain stage in your life you find out about, but you just can't know in the beginning when you're 22 or 25. So again, it's the exact same thing with your career. Don't get frustrated if right now you feel a bit confused or a bit lost because you can't see the bigger picture yet. You need to continue pursuing, building that career that is perfect. Well, not perfect, that is best for you. It will take time, and with each step that you make, new information will reveal itself to you. You will know new things about yourself, about your likes and dislikes, about your career. The most important thing here is you never stop to evolve. You never stop questioning where you are, and also that you never accept a bad situation. Once you simply accept a bad situation in relation to career, your job, and workplace, then in a way you're kind of done because you accepted it, you're not questioning it anymore, and you're not making any efforts to find out more about how you can improve your situation, right? So you need to always try and do some introspection throughout the process and see, are you still on the right path? Are you still heading into the right direction? Another analogy I want to share with you in relation to building and shaping a career is buying a suit off the rack versus buying a tailored, a custom-made suit. Of course, it's much easier to just go to the store and buy yourself a suit off the rack. You pick your size and it will have more or less the measurements that you need. And if you just need that blazer or suit for your day-to-day work, to go to the office, then maybe it's not such a big deal. It just has to fit more or less. But what about if you get a suit for your wedding, or let's say a dress for your wedding? You will want it to fit perfectly, because on your wedding day or on a special occasion, you don't want it to be uncomfortable. You don't want to keep pulling on your sleeves because maybe the sleeve is too long, or pulling something down, or tugging at your dress because it's too tight. You want it to be perfectly measured to your body. And it's the same with a career. If you pick a career path that someone else has followed, or if you just follow the career path that is offered to you by the company that you work for, then it is very likely that it will not suit you. And the reason is because the career path that is typically offered by a company is designed to fit the company's needs and fulfill the company's visions. It is not catered to specific individuals, and that makes sense. That makes totally sense from the company's perspective. But if you have the goal to build a career that is truly meaningful and fulfilling, and you don't just want to go through the motions and follow someone else's blueprint for your life and your career, then you need to take matters into your own hand and design your own career path. And nowadays, especially, there are so many ways how you can build a customized career, but you need to do your research. What kind of opportunities exist out there, and what suits you personally. On one hand, there are people who work for a company and stay with them for 20 years and work full-time. But on the other hand, and I find this very interesting, is there are many people who have a certain interest or a career goal in mind, and with that they split their time between doing some freelancing, some entrepreneurship where they work on their personal projects, and maybe a bit of working part-time over here. So give some thought as to what kind of work mode and maybe working conditions suit you and your personality best in the long run. And you might have this question: I already worked in my current career for almost 10 years. Let's say I worked in marketing, but now I want to do something completely different. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to start my own blog and sell t-shirts there, or whatever it is that you want to do. What about my existing career? Do I just throw it away and start all over? Wouldn't this all be wasted time? And I say that the answer is a definite no, because whatever you did in your first career, let's say, will never go to waste, because there are so many things, skills, experiences, and knowledge that you gathered from your career, from your 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 jobs, that you will be able to transfer to your new career. Of course, the old skills that you have and the new skills that you will need will not completely overlap. You will need to learn a lot of new things, but there is an overlap, and this overlap is extremely precious. So if you want to change careers, don't ever get hung up on the thought that you've kind of wasted your first career and that you wasted your time doing something that you didn't really want to do, and now you're changing, you're starting over again. Try to get rid of that kind of thinking, because it will only hinder your progress. Change your whole perspective about the way that a career path is supposed to look like. Change the way you view careers as something that is orderly, structured, and systematic. For most people, and even for the most successful ones, their career paths are not a straight line that is super neat and orderly and structured. It's not like that at all. Career development is usually very messy, and it is especially messy when you are in the midst of it. But later on, when you made it to a certain point where you experience some kind of balance, and that I call equilibrium, then if you look at your past career path in hindsight, then everything will start making sense. Why you did this and the mistakes that you made on your journey. So have faith that even if you just make very small and gradual improvements to your career over the years, eventually you will have the kind of career that suits you best and that will be fulfilling and meaningful to you. Same as doing home improvement. You don't buy all your furniture at once. You don't paint your walls and let it be for the rest of your life. Well, some people do it, but most people will make some kind of change to their homes, even just very minor changes. I hope this video was useful for you. Please let me know in the comments what your thoughts are, what your struggles are with career development and career change at the moment. I would really love to hear about that. Thank you so much for watching. Have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you again soon.